If this board were to move forward with the certifying of a machine that subsequently we come back and learn should not have been certified, and we spend millions of dollars for that machine, we're stuck with that machine. I would recommend that we table this discussion until a later time.
And then what if we don't like the test?
Then I can't get an answer to that question. Gee, we know an answer to that?
But they're all paper ballots.
All of them will record something on paper. That is not the same as a paper ballot. The machine that you all are talking about is a machine that returns something with a barcode. And I don't know about any of you at this table, but I don't read barcode. I read a little Hebrew, I read a little Greek, I read a little Spanish, but I don't read barcode. And the barcodes are the issue at hand.
They all have barcodes.
No, they don't
They
all have
do
barcodes.
all have barcodes.
No, they do not. What you're talking about is a timing mark around the ballot. That's not a barcode. And we have it. I can look on my phone yesterday. There's in the manual. It talks about that as being a timing line. I questioned the people of ES&S, and they said it was a ballot. And then when I questioned them about it, they turned around and said, yes, it is a timing line.
And Reverend Spearman, my recollection, so correct me if I'm wrong, that ESS has a system. You or I could fill out a paper ballot and put it into one of ESS machines, and it would read it, drop it into a bin, and it would count that. And that would not have a barcode, as you've described. I do acknowledge that Reverend Spearman is correct in that there is another machine that ESS makes that does produce a barcode as you described. So I just want to make that clarification that vendor I don't think would be disqualified from your criticism, notwithstanding.
Indeed, it is ES&S that we deal with. I am most comfortable with the DS200 and the Automark.
Their handicap accessible machine that they built previous to the express vote, it's where you take a blank ballot, insert it into the machine. A blind voter would listen on headphones, and it would have a little auto pin kind of bubbling in the bubbles for then the voter to insert in the DS200.
I don't think that ours is to predetermine whether or not one of the vendors will do what they're required to do, and that is to move it to the state of North Carolina. I don't think that's our decision to make. And in terms of restoring the confidence and trust of the people, I think we need to do our due diligence to make sure that we have done everything that we could to make sure that the decisions that we make are going to be such that we are able to get to that point. This provision that I identified has not been satisfied is the concern that I have today.
Charlie, am I mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, does the last vendor that I was talking about, do they have a machine or a variation machine where you use a touch screen and you fill out the ballot, so to speak, and then the machine spits out the ballot, the paper ballot. The voter has the ballot in his or her hands, and they look at it, and they can read it. And I fully understand, not speaking barcode, I probably don't either for that matter, but during the years that I've been here, I know that some voters unintentionally don't speak bubbles either, because you and I have seen the number of ballots where the voters bubbled in two at the same place when you can only vote for one. They've been outside, they've been inside, they make an X. It's my fear that that might happen, and when they take it to the scanner takes it, drops it into the bin, and that vote doesn't count because there's something fundamentally wrong with it.
But they get an opportunity to look at the ballot and verify what their choices were.
Well, all these people that we reviewed that did those same things with X's or marking outside or whatever, they had the same opportunity, and for whatever reason, those things, if we put that in to read, it just doesn't read it. And it goes into the box, and then we can't identify who actually voted which ballot. And, you know, we don't go back and review like we have done if it's a hand-done ballot. It'll just go in, it either count or it won't count, and
That is generally the argument of ES&S.
Well, and
what,
As
I've
for-
seen it. I mean, you've seen
I've
it.
seen
You've
it
been
too.
here for
Sure, I've
just
seen
a
it.
short time, but you've seen it.
I've seen it, and as I have always stated, if I'm going to err, I'm going to err on the side of the voter. Well, we've been doing a disservice to the voter because what we've been accepting is something with a barcode. I think that we need to move away from barcodes.
That's fine. I think this concept that we're doing is that we've done a disservice, or boards in the past have done a disservice, presumes that there's been a failure.
Correct.
And what evidence do you have of that?
Plenty of it.
Okay.
And if you would accept it, then we could move on to a better system.
Well, we're going to move on to a different system.
Because for the past,
I'm
for the
just not
past
sure that
7
there's-
years, for the past 7 years,
that there's-
we have been subjected to using a machine that has already been determined in a few states, Florida being one of them, that it's really an abomination. It's been banned in Florida for years.
Okay.
So that's the proof.
Well, for those of us who looked at the systems, and I know Reverend Spearman, you were there, I understand that the machine, under certain circumstances, you described it, prints a barcode, and we'll read that barcode, and then that ballot would fall into a box, and then that machine would then give a result. It would say, you know, candidate A has 100 votes. Would it be possible to go into the box and then hand count those 100 ballots and determine whether that machine had read those barcodes correctly under the SNS or the ESS system?
Probably.
Yeah, and I think that might address the concerns that you're raising, and maybe we need to, study that a little further. With the exception of that, I'm just not familiar with any, disenfranchisement here in Guilford County, but certainly willing to look at whatever reports you've got on that.
And of course, I read the vendors' propaganda, or their notices, like you were talking about from Florida, that are contrary. And it seems like they sold their system to the state of South Carolina, the state of Georgia, Utah, Colorado, and some other places that the remarks were very positive. And that's for 2 whole states, Georgia and South Carolina. Georgia had that very close race for governor, the last election, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'm afraid that if we don't make a decision fairly quickly, that we won't be able to get it here, get folks trained, get it, and use it appropriately in the election we're required to use it in.
With that, I would move that we table this discussion for a week.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries unanimously. Charlie, can you put that on the agenda with everything else?
Yes, sir.